exciting cadets. Welcome back to another episode of Moving Right Along, the podcast by young writers for young writers. I'm Cosette, social media manager of Moving Right Along, and today I'm joined by our hosts, Kat, Ruby, and Ray.
And today we have the whole gang together. I'm Simone, the executive producer, and I am so excited to announce the finale of the Moving Right Along's third season.
It's gonna be so much fun. I'm Jasmine, co-producer of Moving Right Along and the schemer behind this episode. I started my coup last time and now I'm here to finish it. The lore of this untraditional finale comes from an opportunity, an episode a while back, I think it was in the second season, that I couldn't make it to. And so in my morning, I told Simone that I wanted to do a tea party episode. And so I'm so excited to do this as our finale of season 3.
And today, to sort of commemorate the time we spent together this season, we thought we'd do a sort of like wholesome reflection of the last few months and how far we've come as a group.
This episode feels targeted, and I dislike that. So I'm going to start off the questions, seeing as you've wanted me here to do this wholesome little gathering with you guys. What has been your favourite episode of Moving Right Along this season and in our past seasons?
I'm really looking at the spot now. I'm not even kidding.
That's actually a really good idea. I don't remember what we've done.
Anyone got any ideas?
Hang on.
I'm going to ask Simone to go first. Simone, will you please give me your answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is the answer? And I'll give you a point if it's right.
Oh, there's a right answer? Oh no.
What?
There is.
So this,
Right
I'm torn between our interviews with Zulfa because those were just so amazing and that was just such great content. She said so many amazing things. And I still really like our misogyny and YA episode. Like, that is such an original from our first season, but it's the first one that all of us were like really, really proud of. And Cassette made like some great social media content for that one as well too, that I will treasure forever. So I loved that episode.
I think from this season, my favorite was the Message to Our Younger Selves one, just because that one was so cute. But I also still agree, my overall favorite is definitely still the misogyny episode. Takes the cake. We can't beat it. I really don't think we can beat it. It's just amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Message to Our Younger Selves was really good for this season, and I also love the misogyny episode. I think when I think about like my favorite episodes, I think also something that sticks out is like memories behind the scenes. I think our horror episode, I think it has my favorite memories. It's not my favorite episode, but it has some of my favorite memories with it. But yeah, something about that misogyny episode, I think it really sticks out to me just as something where I feel like we really spoke about something that's important to me and important to all of us, and I feel like we spoke about it in a good way. So yeah, like Simone said, I think I look back on that one with a lot of pride.
So I apparently am gonna have an unpopular answer, but I really liked the reading our childhood writing one just because I thought it was so funny to see everyone's childhood writing. Huge fan of Simone Sarah Dessen phase. I gotta say, big fan of that. And
or
then
Ruby's mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
mashed potatoes.
Let's not talk about it.
So that's a personal favorite of mine.
Jasmine, what's your favorite so far?
So whenever I try and peer pressure authors into coming on the podcast, I always say my favorite is the misogyny and YA episode, of course. I also, like Ruby said, like the behind the thing, I really liked our finale for season 1 where we played that game together. That was so much. That was fun.
Yeah.
And
What an episode.
also the Zulfa episodes I thought were really good. I don't know. I like a lot of them, so.
Biggest fan. The biggest fan on the podcast is Jasmine.
I like the ones with meat in it, though. So.
me as well.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Oh, we all.
I also agree. I really like the misogyny. I think I don't know if it's actually my favorite episode, but it's definitely like my first favorite episode. In that, like the first 2 episodes, as everyone knows, I absolutely hate, but the third one I quite liked. And then I think as well, one of my favorite was the one interview we did with Diesel about poetry. I really enjoyed that one. I feel like that was a really interesting episode, and I like learned a lot. So that's my answer. And it's the correct answer, so no points for anyone else. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
You're under the wall.
Okay.
Alright.
It's a tea party, okay?
It is a competition. It's the Boston Tea Party now. That's what she's made it.
It's a lot.
I was waiting for the British American joke.
That versus everyone else.
Ruby, that's
You already
so
invited me here to do a revolution against me.
my coup.
We gotta fly to Cat's
Pour my
murder
tea
show.
out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, we talked a little bit about what it's like behind the scenes.
What is that? What is that supposed to be?
The rage.
And I wanted to know what is everyone's favourite memory of the Pod Squad in the recording booth.
You sound Australian.
That's what I was going for. I was going for Australia.
I will answer this first because I'm the one who can recover first, apparently, from that. I am torn between every time we've messed up the intro, which happens constantly, and then the joy I got. I'm so glad one of you reminded me. The joy I got from messing with y'all with the scary sounds on our horror episode. That was amazing.
That was cruel.
That was so much fun.
Just trying to get through a sentence and like Simone just hits you.
It was so good because Ruby is there's a phrase for it, I can't remember, but like you are so much fun to scare. Specifically, you
I'm
give
so
good
glad.
reactions. It's great.
I get jump scared really easily. So, and then also what was funny is I saw in the video, my reactions were so delayed, like video wise. So they
Yeah.
5 seconds later, you see me go. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Favorite memories of recording? Yeah, I think like I said earlier, I think the horror episode is the first time we had to like finish an episode. Which I think it's really funny in hindsight. But in the moment it was like, oh my gosh, are we ever gonna finish this? But I think some of my favorite memories from recording overall, I think is always just gonna be when we got the whole team together and we just all got to laugh with each other. I think we're really lucky to have been able to not just like be teammates but be friends. So then when we all got to get together and like that dynamic got to be almost like complete, I think I always just love those. So yeah.
It's such a nice one. I don't like that. This is a nice comment.
I don't like that.
Ruin it, Kat.
I
Ruin
I love
it.
how Kat is just like our natural buffer between being sentimental. Like,
Yeah, I hate that.
It's
Ruby,
a
you're
bad.
bullying
Ruby,
me.
do you know what my favourite moment was? When you hit your elbow. That was so funny.
That was good.
Not because like I thought it was funny like Ruby being in pain, but just because you like started and then you just hit it and you went and you just went down. It was on video. It looked so funny because 1 second Ruby was out, next second Ruby head was just like disappeared off frame. And my other favorite memory was probably when we got our first ever like big guest and it was Alison's, and that was really like fun. Because it was like we were so excited to meet her because we had read her book, and that was really, I think that was really exciting. So that's my other favorite memory. But also Ruby hitting her elbow, that was really funny.
Yeah. No, after Allison's happened, we all like screeched together for like a solid like 30 seconds.
yeah.
Pretty good.
Recording was really good. I remember, I think that's one of my most awkward memories of like ever being, because when I'm there, when I'm there when you guys are recording, I'm just sitting there, and so it was so awkward when she came in, and I was the person who had emailed her all of the things beforehand, and then Simone was like, introduce yourself, like frozen. I was like, hi, and it was just like being in that recording was so much fun, and then at the end screaming about it afterwards, and I was like, I can't believe like I was even part of, like I was just there, but it was still really fun. And I think the first season finale, like when I was freaking out, I was like, I am not prepared to be in an episode, and then everyone was like, no, it's gonna be fine. Like that was a very wholesome moment for me. and I was like, oh, we are a team. Because I was like, but I suck at this game, but I got through it. And
We all sucked a little.
That was such a fun
Yeah.
episode.
that was not a bad episode. I liked it. Afterwards, not being in it.
Yeah, it was too stressful.
I came so close to crying. Like,
Oh no. I probably have two favorite not episodes. That's not what I meant to say. I probably have two favorite memories. I think the first one was when I think we just finished recording, and I think it might have been Simone or like Jasmine sent in the Discord to like let us know that she got like a certain guest to like be interested in coming on our show, our podcast. And there was this moment where like I was freaking out, Ruby was freaking out, Simone was freaking out, and then Kat was having technical difficulties. So she was just in the background like, what? What's going on? What? I can't hear you. It was so
Like under her desk, and she like poked her head out.
No, because I also didn't know who the guest was, so I was like, who is that person? While everyone else was like freaking out. I was like, who is that? And then as I was like ducking underneath the desk.
And then I think the other one was when we were doing our first ever episode together. I remember like me, Ruby, and Kat, we were all so like nervous, so shaky. We kept like messing everything up and being like, I'm so sorry, like, I got this, we got this. And it was just so funny. I mean, okay, in the moment it wasn't funny. It was really nerve-wracking. But it was nice to know that we were all, you know, like, in it together, nervous together. But that was definitely a fun memory. Love that one. What about you, Cosette?
I mean, I didn't get to record with y'all a whole lot, so I think my answers are very limited. Definitely when we all recorded the season 1 finale, that was like a highlight. There's so much stuff we cut out of that I think made it so beautiful to just be there in the moment.
If we wanted to stay monetized, or no, not monetized, family friendly.
Oh man.
Another highlight was when y'all had a conflict come up with one of the guests very last minute, and I was literally doing my laundry, and I come back to my laptop and I just see a bunch of messages from all of y'all being like, Cosette, can you come on to the episode, please? So if you listen to the on social media or like on Writergram episode, that is the episode that I was doing my laundry, and then I just got a bunch of messages that I needed to be in the recording studio, so that was funny. Those are my highlights, though.
It's fine.
We improvise, adapt, overcome.
Modern
Ruby,
problems
like
require
writing
modern
that
solutions.
script in seconds. Like
Yes,
I know,
Ruby and,
literally.
like
Yeah.
everyone was, like typing. Like it was the craziest thing.
No, honestly, we got kind of good at like bringing scripts up out of like
Yeah.
Out of
One time we
nowhere.
had to do that where you would just see all of us like frantically typing.
Yeah. Like during the episode, like you're recording, like, and then also typing at the same time because you need to send the script.
Oh my gosh! Literally on our last episode, I didn't finish a sentence, and it became a really ominous thing that I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I was supposed to say, like, go find someone to like swap writing machines, but I just said go find someone. So everybody just like froze because
What are you talking about?
Anyways, that was a good time. Everybody got to go, right?
Yeah, so on the flip side of that question, what's our favorite memory outside of recording? I have an answer immediately.
I also
That's
have
the
an
answer
immediate
immediately.
answer.
I think some of us are
Right.
going to. So some of us got convinced by me to do a D&D one shot that has now turned into a campaign. So my favorite memories outside of recording have been playing D&D with some of y'all. It is so much fun, and some of y'all are living like your Stranger Things best lives through it, I think. So it's great. And also the rap battle, the OG rap battle was amazing. as well.
Oh my
We referenced that
gosh.
so much.
It was the rap battle is I think the moment we became like a podcast group instead of just like a bunch of people trying to make a podcast. You know?
Became a family instead of
It was the moment.
that we became a mafia family. That was a moment.
Mafia
It
family.
was
Yep.
like I'm
That
not
got cut out of the finale.
My favorite moment. Okay, D&D is definitely a highlight, but I didn't even think of that as like a moment with the podcast outside of like recording. I thought of that as just like a moment with my friends. So I like that you brought that up though, because no, that wasn't meant to be sentimental. So don't take it as that. Okay.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
only
okay.
like 3 questions in.
Excuse me.
My favorites are, this is a little insider secret. At the end of our team meetings, occasionally one of us will give a presentation. And usually that person is Cosette. So, and Cosette is me. And so
Good to know, thanks.
my favorite memories are just like giving those presentations. And like seeing everyone's we covered a lot of different topics in those presentations, and I lived my teacher dreams. I felt like a professor. I was gonna be employee in that. So that's mine.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, honestly, I will say the presentations, another insider secret. Also, someone does a pyramid every now and then. Just like the pyramid from Dance Moms. And so one of my favorite memories is being on the top of the pyramid every week.
Can't relate. You know,
Yeah, Kat was always at the top.
I was always right at the bottom. Apart from the one time I think you put like someone else like
Oh my
at
gosh.
the bottom, but I still never even reached like the middle tier. I was always on the bottom one.
Oh my gosh.
Fine.
Yeah,
I'm
but
better.
I would say another one of my favorite like memories is for some reason at some point we settled into like a family dynamic where because that's our dad, Simone's our mom, me and Ray are the little sons of the family, Jasmine is our older sister, and Kat's our weird uncle. And I feel like that's one of my favorite things that we did because we would it was just really fun to do. So that's another favorite thing I have to say.
So nice. I think I have 2 favorite memories. The first one this is actually really sentimental for me, but the first one was, you know, we did like a little Valentine's Day thing for our audience.
That was so good.
We organized like a little Valentine's Day thing where like everyone has to give like something sweet to one another, and I got like the nicest letter ever from Jasmine that I still have. It was so nice. It was like the nicest thing I think someone's ever sent to me, and I remember just reading it and being like, oh, that's really nice. And the other favorite memory is a lot weirder than that one. I don't know if Ray will remember this, but we were late to a meeting once, and we used this like gather thing. It was like a meeting with our bosses or whatever at times. And it was a gather thing. So the way it works is you have like little virtual avatars and you have to like find your way to the meeting space. But me and Ray couldn't find it. And like we couldn't talk to each other either. So we were just walking around the place. We were just following each other. And I just remember like behind my screen just cracking up. Because me and Ray's like icons were just like going round and round in circles. Because we couldn't find anybody. We were just like, where is everyone?
I remember they had to send someone to go find you guys.
Yeah.
No, okay, in our defense, it was a very closed off room of the map.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
also,
super
somewhere
random,
else.
yeah.
when we finally got there, the meeting was over.
Yeah, basically we got there. And he was like, you didn't guys, it's okay. Like, it's already over. We're like, oh man. So yeah, that was quite
an
like, a
hour
fun
of my
memory of
life.
mine. Just walking around, like racing, was just following me. So yeah, that's one of my other favorite memories. What about you, Ray?
Oh, I don't know. Now come back to me. I gotta think about this one. Someone else go first.
Jasmine, what's yours?
Memories. I mean, the Valentine's Day thing was really special because I mean, we weren't like there was like no pressure. Like you know, like, we're a team, we're a podcast team, but we all genuinely like each other as well. And so I didn't really know what to expect. And I got the sweetest gift. Like I was at school when I got mine, and I literally cried at school. It was like the sweetest thing I've ever gotten. And yeah, and I treasure that gift. It was so sweet. Another memory, I don't know. I think all of the calls where we say we're gonna plan something, but we end up talking about like completely irrelevant things for 3 hours. Like those have been very good for me. All the calls with Simone where I'm like, I'm gonna tell you one thing, one singular idea about what I want to do in a podcast episode, and then it ends up being like 2 hours of me just talking about random things in life that have nothing to do with the podcast at all. Or like when Ray and I work on things together, those memories are very special to me. So all the things that have nothing to do with the podcast, those have been, I don't know, it's been fun to become friends.
I think my favorite, this is very broad and vague, but honestly just all of us like playing D&D, because I love D&D. Ever since I was a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, I want to do this so bad, but I never had like a group that would like play it with me, because yeah, I was a kid. Kids don't usually play D&D, but I like never had anybody who wanted to do that. So when Simone was like, hey, do you guys want to play D&D? I was like, oh my god, and it's been so much fun, and just seeing all the chaos we caused in her little world that she made, it was just, it's amazing. I love it.
I thought of another favorite moment that y'all reminded me of. I will have to be vague about this. For some reason it was just me, Kat, and Ray on a call, I think. And a certain world event had happened.
Oh!
And
yeah,
Kat made
I
the
love this
mistake
memory.
of asking me and Ray, what are y'all doing? And about 2.5 hours later of just ranting. I think that's vague enough. Yeah.
That was amazing. I literally
Poor question.
Yeah, I feel like we end up talking for hours after like recording and after meetings.
I mean, literally took us an hour.
We're
just to
gonna talk for
record
hours
this.
after this.
Yeah.
Knowing us.
Non-Craig talks. The non-Craig talks.
Yeah.
When he's out of here.
For our next question, which is just completely doing a 360 here, who's your least favorite Pod Squad member?
My least favorite Pod Squad member.
Pick me. Pick me.
Simone really wants to do that,
I will
which
call
I don't
Simone.
like.
Oh. Simone?
For abandoning me during the Allison Saft interview in the middle of it, Craig. Because he dropped off in the middle of he's our recording bot, and he dropped off in the middle of the Allison Saft interview. And those of you who were there, do you remember the fear of God in my voice as I went, oh my god, guys. I
like,
almost
desperately
cried.
Trying to distract Allison while we're
failed
like,
us.
we're gonna get it fixed. So Allison, how's your day
Picked it
been?
up so quick, like you distracted her. It was great. Oh my gosh, that was so stressful. So yeah, Craig's my least favorite.
That's fair.
I have to agree. I think
Agreed.
Craig has failed us enough times that he is my least favorite. Sorry, Craig.
Talk about it when he's in
Watch
the
him
room.
fail right now, just out of spite. Like,
We're gonna jinx him.
oh no.
I'm literally checking to make sure he's still recording. Okay, we're good.
Ray, Kat, Cassette, Jasmine.
Oh, well, mine's Kat. Alright.
No hesitation.
Listen, it's nothing personal. It's just me and Kat have we're frenemies, okay? Enemies to friends, slow burn, 750K.
Lovers?
Enemies to friends to lovers. Plot twist.
Our enemies to lovers aren't Kat.
You're a mafia leader too.
Dual mafia leaders.
Oh my god.
Is this These Violent Delights? Is that what this is?
Secretly.
I read that.
Well,
BT
well,
Dubs, so I don't know if that comparison holds. Anyway, that's mine. Feel free to.
Someone is gonna end up dying by the end of the day, so like, you know.
Okay, that's not ominous.
That's
Okay.
You know, maybe we don't need Kat to answer this question.
No,
no,
Kat.
I have
answer
answers.
it for her.
Kat,
Yeah.
what is your answer?
My answer. I have two. Actually, do I have three? Do I have four? Do I have five?
Okay, wow. Alright.
Guys, I think the problem is the obvious answer is Ruby because I bully Ruby all the time. That is true. maybe like out of nowhere it's actually like Ray, but Ray's too young, so like I would feel bad. I'd be a grown
youngest child card. Let's go.
A child. So like at least with Ruby, there's like less of an age gap there, so it's like I feel less bad about bullying a child. And then Simone. Well, Simone's like my boss, but you know, at times, you know, there's some things that you just can't forgive Simone for. And then I would say Jasmine, but then Jasmine, like I said, Jasmine wrote me a really nice letter during Valentine's, so I also can't say Jasmine. But Jasmine did suggest this tea party, and as someone who's British, I'm pretty upset about that. So there's that. But I think I'm gonna have to give it to Cassette, because I think when we first locked eyes on each other, there's just this hatred just bubbling up to the surface.
There's only room
the
for one
first
of us
time-
in this podcast.
Yeah, literally. I think the first meeting we ever had, like the first thing that we ever did was like the rap battle. Like it was literally me and Cassette against each other. And from then on, a rivalry was born. And over time, we realized that like Cassette kept thinking that she was older than me as well. She was like, you child. I was like, Cassette, I'm older than you.
I thought I was older than you. It's that you never told me I wasn't. And
You assumed. Don't blame me for assuming. So yeah, I'd probably have to give it to Cassette. But Ruby is a close second. And then there's a third and a fourth and a fifth. I don't know what it is.
She won't even give you first place in being the person she hates the most. That's how much she dislikes you.
Amazing.
You're not good enough to be first place.
We need to actually, guys. You know what? I'm gonna expose you right now, Kat. Kat had to give me a Valentine, and she said many nice things about me. So actually,
Oh my gosh.
you like me deep down inside, okay?
Shut up. What are you about? Not
I'll post it.
No, you can't expose me like that.
I just did.
Horrible. Yeah, no. Yeah, so those are my least favorite members of the podcast.
Everyone.
So literally everyone.
All of us.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Love you too.
Imagine if I said it was me. Imagine if I turned this like really emo. I said my least favorite member of the podcast is me. That'd be really funny. Anyways, yeah.
Say myself simply because I didn't get in on the D&D thing and I've regretted it ever since.
No.
However, guys, in my queue for Pod Squad Total Domination, I think my only real enemy, the only one I'm really truly against is Kat. But Kat and I are besties now after Valentine's Day. So, and you're like an ocean away, so I can't really fight you in a dramatic battle sequence. So I'm gonna have to also go with Craig. I think that he's disappointed me several times. He probably pushed Ruby down a well. So, yeah.
I was sticking there for a while.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. It's always been Craig. He is the outlier. Just look at those eyes.
He's,
Those beady little eyes.
he's just staring like this.
Hiding behind that stoic expression.
I also agree, because in the first season, I had this really great monologue going about screenwriting, and then in the middle, I had to get cut off because Craig stopped recording. So
That's true.
you suck.
Craig, step it up.
Yeah, Craig, you suck.
Mm-mm.
Don't provoke
I'm kidding. We totally love you. Please keep recording.
Keep on recording though.
Move forward with love in our hearts. So this season we've talked a lot about the writing community, and we've tried pushing back against some preconceived biases. Ruby's now a pantser. I mean,
Don't lie.
I didn't say anything. But anyway, the question is, what has been something you've learned that has stood out to you or surprised you?
Firstly, I'd like to say I'm not a pantser. That's a lie. I will not have these lies being spread about myself.
You literally said it last episode.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
mildly enjoyed pantsing. I didn't say I was a pantser now. Okay. I would like to put
Okay.
that out there for the public.
Sure.
But I would say something that I've learned or that has stood out to you or surprised me. I think oh my gosh, this actually sounds really sad, but it's not that sad. Before moving right along, I didn't really have like writer friends. I think all my friends were just, they didn't really get like what I did. They didn't really understand like why my books were so important to me. And I think I didn't really think that that was something I needed. And so I think something that stood out and surprised me is how like much value there is in having writer friends and having friends who like get what you mean when you say like your first draft is killing you or just like things like that, because just not everybody understands that. Not everybody understands like the perspective that you have as a writer. And so I think that that's something that genuinely surprised me is how awesome it is to have writer friends, because I didn't really see a need for that until I got you guys. Yay!
I'll steal your
great.
answer because honestly, it was the same. I didn't want a community or anything like that. I like writing because I can do it on my own and no one bothers me. But now I genuinely enjoy having people who I can be like, can y'all read this sentence and tell me why it sucks? Or like, how do I say this in 5 less words? And yeah, I'm surprised how much I like that too. So
I'm
Well,
also
I'm a
gonna
thief.
steal that
Yeah.
answer. Because well, just because like before, I mean, I'm kind of repeating what you guys said here, but before we had this, I'd only kind of just started taking writing seriously as like one of my, I don't know, hobbies, passions, whatever you want to call it. So I was still sort of new to it and very, very insecure about what I can do with it. So I didn't really want to get into that kind of community because I didn't think I'd be able to bring enough to the table. But meeting you guys was like, bam, like, whoa, I don't suck as much as I think I do. I do suck, but not as bad. So
You don't.
no, it's a good thing.
not
It's a good
acceptable.
thing. So I
Not
think I've just
acceptable,
learned that. See, this is exactly what I mean. You guys have given me so much confidence in what I can do, and that's just such a valuable lesson. So
So cute.
you guys are great.
Well, I'm gonna thieve the same answer, but I'm going to bring a different perspective to it because I did have writing friends. I had Cozy Writes before I ever had Moving Right Along, and so like through that I had made writing friends. This was such an interesting dynamic. Like it's so much different having y'all as because I feel like you guys are my friends. Like you're not just my writing friends. Because like there are people that I'm only friends with because we both write, and so the only things we talk about are like our works in progresses and stuff. But like with y'all, it's been so interesting just being able to like have normal people conversations too. Not to say writers aren't normal, but if you're a writer, you know you're normal. So take it as a
And
compliment.
are our conversations normal? Because I don't know
Yeah.
if you can necessarily
Some
call
of
them
those
I would
normal.
say, okay, if they are not normal, they are at least interesting, and that's more than can be said for some people in this world. Okay, so that's my take on it.
I mean, I agree with everyone else. I don't think I ever showed like anyone my writing before meeting all of you guys because I was like, it's so bad. Like, I was like, no, this is just for me. But then Simone became my mentor and started reading my stuff and judging me, and it was actually like it was so much fun for me and Simone. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's a lot of preconceived ideas of like what writers are like, and we've gotten to meet so many different writers from so many different backgrounds who take their work in such interesting ways. Some are trying to like take down ideas of what certain like what are minorities are like, while others are just trying to show them in, just a story for entertainment and enjoyment. And those two writing styles or meanings behind it are both equally like as significant. And getting to hear why other writers write and their stories and all of that has been, I don't know, it's been very eye-opening, I think. Because I never would have talked to these people. I mean, I don't talk to like authors, but it's been such a cool opportunity to get to do that.
Really nice answer too.
Yeah.
Like everyone's answers. I am gonna be actually a bit sappy for once, but like,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
my answer is kind of similar in that I didn't have many writing friends before as well, and also something, because I've been writing for a really long time, I often look back at like when I was younger is really cringy, because I was very cringy when I was younger, and I think in a way I kind of had that like thought of like, oh, younger writers, they're so cringy. And then I actually met like, you know, Ray, Ruby, and Jasmine, who are all like these brilliantly talented young writers. And then like seeing how like mature they were and just like really like amazing at like what they do, I was just like, wow. I was blown away, honestly. I was like, oh my god. I wish I was that cool when I was that age, because I really was not. I was like, every time I see like Ray or like Ruby doing something, like, wow. Wish I had been that calm and collected at that age, because I really, really was not. So that is my answer, is that it's taught me that like you can't dismiss writers because they're younger than you, because some of them are really talented and amazing, and you should listen to them. Anyways, I hate all these people. Get me out of here.
Oh
my God.
definitely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, what is something that being in Moving Right Along has taught you?
So when we all applied for this job, we just applied to be on a podcast. We didn't know what job we were getting. We didn't know what jobs there were. We had no clue. We were just assigned a job when we joined. And when I was like, oh, the producer is the person in charge of everything. Oh, crap. That is not what I signed up for at all. And I did not think I could do it, because I was like, I'm not an organizer. I'm not a leader. I'm not a person who like starts things. That is not me. And I learned that I'm wrong, and that I think at least I can do all of those things. And if it wasn't for me learning how to
Yeah.
do that with y'all, I would not have like my real life adult job that I have today, and I would not be as good at it as I was, because y'all taught me how to do all of those leading, teamwork building kind of things. So that's what it taught me, and I am forever grateful for that for all of you.
I want to emphasize for everybody listening that Simone is an incredible leader.
Yeah, she
Incredible.
really is.
Not only
We would be
Hollywood
a puddle of
hire her.
mush.
Excellent.
Mhm.
It would be a pile of mush without.
We would. We really would. It'd be terrible.
It'd be a mess.
Everything would collapse without Simone.
Pretty much.
that's so real.
Yeah.
I have a very specific answer.
Okay.
So, oh wait, I wrote it down because I knew I was gonna forget this the moment I had to say it. So going into this, I've never sort of put like my writing or literally anything about me sort of into the world beyond my personal life, and it was always something I wanted to do, but I never did because I was so scared of doing it and like what everybody else was gonna think about it, blah, 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 all that dumb stuff. So something that you guys have sort of taught me is that the fear of doing something is never gonna fully go away. Like doing the first episode, we were all so shaky and nervous, and that never fully went away. Like even now, I'm still nervous to be talking right now, even though I've been doing this for 3 seasons. But the thing that you guys have really emphasized is that when it is scary to do something, that's exactly when you have to do it. And this time, with this podcast, I could not back out of it because this is essentially like my job, and I had to publish what we did. So having that and realizing, no, we're good. The world didn't end. We're good. Everything's fine. Was like a huge moment for me because now, you know, you guys have sort of given me the confidence to just sort of jump in because I know that, you know, if I do stumble or whatever word you want to use, I've got people to catch me, and it's
Yeah.
So sweet.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Ray, it's insane to me how young you are because you say some of the most profound
Right?
stuff.
Yeah, spouting some
To
wisdom.
this day,
It's okay,
I
I'm
feel like
sweating
I'm
because I'm
still
trying.
learning from you.
I need to stand and like shake it off because I'm sweating a little bit,
Like,
trying not to
oh,
cry. I'm like,
Don't cry.
I knew
Don't
the
cry.
chaos was gonna happen.
No tears.
we're good.
No tears allowed.
Proud.
This
Okay.
is like a muscle. Try not to cry. I got this.
Good
Okay.
Lord, guys, if one of us starts, we're all gonna go. Okay. I would say something that moving right along has taught me. I think firstly it taught me that it's really easy to be friends with people that live in completely different cities and even countries than you. So that was pretty cool to find out. But I think it also taught me to be more confident in what I know. Because I think before I had done this, I had never really, like many of us have said, I hadn't really shared my writing with anyone. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist with my writing, so it always felt like it was never good enough. Like I was never good enough as a writer. Even as a person, sometimes I struggle with that, but especially as a writer. So I think it kind of just taught me that I do know stuff. I know stuff about writing. I know stuff I can share. And I don't know. I think, like Ray said, it helped. You guys really helped boost my confidence, I'd say, as a team. You guys make me feel really good about myself, which I think is how you know it's like a healthy team, is like when everybody feels good about themselves on the team. Yeah, but that's all I have to say.
No, that was good.
It's nice.
When I applied for moving right along, I literally did it between classes, and then after I applied, I like shriveled into a ball because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna regret this. This is gonna be the worst thing I've ever done in my
no.
entire life," because I was so scared. And I was like, "I'm not gonna have anything to contribute." But then I met Ruby at the audition interview, whatever we call it, and we were just talking about ideas, and the ideas that I was so overly worried about and so like insecure about, Ruby was immediately like, "No, that's a great idea. We should do that." And I didn't think that I could ever, become friends with random strangers so quickly. And what Ray said, that fear was like, you're always going to be afraid for the ideas for the next episode or for whatever, but just doing it and having that, a lot of the things we've done have been completely random and sort of weird. And I mean, our first episode had a Romeo and Juliet, Julio skit, and like that was out of nowhere. But like the ideas that I was so scared about, when we actually ended up doing it, it was so much fun. And so I slowly got over that fear. And I mean, Simone giving me so much responsibility to contact random people, I was like, I'm gonna cry. And I did cry during my first email, but after that, I progressed. And I think what Ruby said, like, I have now so much more confidence in myself and in my writing and in saying these weird, bizarre ideas to other people because of the Pod Squad, you know? Because I didn't have any sort of confidence in like any of my ideas at all. But now I'm like, yeah, I could totally, you know what? Let's do that. Let's write that song. Let's make that weird skit episode, And so that was something I got out of moving right along.
All such lovely answers. It's like it's getting so sappy here.
Right,
I
I
know.
what is happening?
I'm gonna introduce a bit of cheese as well. I can't help it. I would say as well, I'm kind of on the same line as both of you, is that like I've always been like someone with like a lot of anxiety and stuff, and like I'm like Ruby, I want everything to be perfect, and then like doing this, because it's so chaotic, you cannot control anything. Like you, like as much as you want like a recording to go perfect the first time round, it like never will. And like I had to let go of like my anxiety about like, okay, I've messed something up and it's gonna go out into the like public and people are gonna hear that like mess up or whatever, and they're gonna actually like hear me talking. Because I was like so stressed about like, what if everybody hates me as like soon as I like start speaking and stuff like that, and like realizing that, at the end of the day you can't control what other people are gonna like receive from your like work. You just have to put it out there and stuff. And that was just like something that being in this like pod squad has taught me, and I just like learned a lot from everybody. So yeah, that is my answer. is that I've been taught by everyone here, I think, like different things. Like Ruby's like eternal optimism, I hate it. But I've learned something from it, is that I hate eternal optimism. But you know, that's what I
Okay.
got.
Kat just really had to bring it home with that answer there.
Yeah.
Hadn't insulted me enough. She had to keep on
Yeah.
going. She's like, I was nice.
You know, you said
One
you
insult.
had confidence from this podcast. I'm the one
Stop.
like keeping it down.
Humble you.
Yeah.
Okay, I can take it.
How has your writing changed since you joined Moving Right Along?
Oh, well, I have an answer for this. That's kind of crazy. That's weird. So this down like question. Okay, I just thought my AirPod was in that ear, and when I reached up and it wasn't there, that was really weird. Sorry about that. It really threw me for a loop. I wrote this down like a couple questions ago because I just got it in my head. But something that really changed my writing is, like I mentioned, I had my writing account before I ever had this podcast, and so like I've been here a minute. Like I've been in the writing community a minute. And something I wrote down was that they told me, they as in the writing community, they told me I was good, but y'all told me I was bad. And that was something I really needed. And it sounds mean when I say it at first, but what I mean is that when I would share my writing on Writergram, these people don't know me. You know, not really. They might have a weird parasocial relationship with me. I can't speak to that. But they don't know me. And so most people don't leave hate comments that are like, your writing sucks and you should go back to step one. And so all the comments I would see were telling me that I was good. But being able to share my writing with y'all and just like get that foundation of being able to put my actual writing out there taught me that I wasn't as good as I could be yet. And that's something that has just helped me so much. And that's how my writing has changed. It's that I learned that I am bad at it sometimes, and it's okay that I'm bad at it. So yeah.
It's a lie because Casette's not bad at it. So
No.
correct.
Oh,
No.
guys, no. See, you can't do that because I know I'm good, but I'm also bad. Like I'm not one thing. I have my good moments and I have my bad moments.
That's very
Both
true.
worlds.
I think for me, just the act of writing in general has become so much more fun for me because before when I was writing, like right now I'm diving into hopefully writing a novel, the first one ever. Yeah, there goes Ruby celebrating. But if I tried to do that like a year ago, I would have been the absolute worst. I would have been a menace to myself. Because I would have been like, this has to be perfect. No, this is wrong. Blah, blah, blah. And it would have just been absolute torture for me to do. But now, after everything that we've sort of done and everything you guys have taught me, I'm actually having fun with it. Like,
Okay.
I straight up didn't write the first chapter because I didn't want to, which is something I never would have done a year ago. But I'm actually having fun with writing now, and I think it's something that I definitely learned from you guys, from all of our talks. So that's great.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think something that's really interesting about moving right along is that I got burnt out on writing for the first time ever while being a host of Moving Right Along, which I think is really kind of funny, a little bit ironic, to be honest. But I think a big thing and a way that my writing has changed and something that I learned from all of you is I feel like I got burnt out because I wasn't really feeling the passion anymore, the passion for it. And just being like, but I got inspired again by like all of you guys and by our listeners who like will tell us about their writing and by just all these different like these culminations of what is Moving Right Along itself. It like inspired me just to feel passionate about writing again. I think it became such a routine kind of thing and not as much something that I knew I was enjoying. But I've just like in recent months have now gotten back to just writing because I know that I love it and because I'm lucky enough to have friends who love it that I can look to and be inspired by. So I think that that's a big way my writing's changed, definitely.
Mine's kind of the same as yours, I think, because before I joined this, I had stopped writing. I hadn't written in maybe at least a few months, and I didn't think I was going to start again, and then I joined this podcast, and suddenly being surrounded by it, I was like, no, wait, I remember why I like doing this now. I remember why this is fun. And so that my writing hasn't changed so much as I just started doing it again and enjoying it. So
Yeah. I'd say I think my answer's kind of similar to Cassette in that before this, like I said, I didn't have many writing friends. All my friends are jocks for some reason. So
Okay.
yeah,
Popular
I have like really like most of my friends do not do anything like remotely like writing or anything like that. So having people who like interested in writing and stuff like that has got me like so much more inspired, and I feel like I've gotten better. And like some people have done a bit of beta reading for me and stuff like that, and it's been nice. It's been real nice. Talking of which, I need to get on to write some comments, because I feel better now, because I was sick for a while, but now I'm better and I can go and write people's comments for their books, and I'm off to go do that. To go do some reading right after this. It's midnight, but I'm gonna go do it.
good life choices.
Yeah, that's my writing change, is that I've gotten some good comments, like things on, I've noticed grammar mistakes that I did not notice before, and just like being more inspired. That is my answer. 10 points to me.
For me, like Ruby was saying earlier, I was a perfectionist with my writing, and so it would always be like a cycle of like I'd try and do nano, and then I'd like if I failed, I felt really bad about it, and I didn't have a writing community of people to like talk to about these things. So I was like, oh, every single writer is doing nano and they're succeeding, and I'm here like the worst ever, right? But I mean, getting to know you guys and being on Moving Right Along has kind of shifted my perspective of writing, because, you know, Ray writes scripts and songs, and, you know, Ruby has written flash fiction. These are like not even things that I had considered beforehand. And so not putting all of writing in one box and having the creativity to just explore different things that I hadn't that I felt like I couldn't do beforehand. And I mean, also as like the beta reader for several people on the team, I feel like I'm just getting like when you're beta reading for Taiwi, you don't know the people usually. But the day I like became part of Moving Right Along, I also signed on Cassette's project. I didn't know, but I mean, and getting to know the people behind the writing, you learn how passionate they are about it. And I feel like Ruby was saying, I was just really not passionate about it because I was so fixated on just like this like very hating part of writing, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or all that imposter syndrome stuff. But getting to be a part of a writing community where everyone is so excited and hyped up about writing just got me so much more passionate about what I was working on. And to the point where, you know, I'm just writing it because it's fun. Like Ray was saying, you know, I have to write the first chapter. I can just write whatever I'd like because it's supposed to be fun. It doesn't have to be for anything. And so it took a lot of the stress out of writing, I think, to be on Moving Right Along.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what we've learned. We've talked a lot about what we gained, but do we have any regrets about our time here with Moving Right Along, or anything we wish we could go back and change, you know, if we could?
D&D campaign.
God,
Regret every day.